Jarrod George wanted this season was to win the Best and Fairest award in his local footy team in Wagga. But 4 games into the season, Jarrod suffered a stroke, something that happens to only a handful of children in Australia each year. Jarrod is now fighting back with the support of his family and his football team. Jason Bowden reports on a boy who may not have won the Best and Fairest, but must be in the running for a special trophy for courage.
From the time he could first walk, he got his first football. And everywhere he went, that football was in his hands. It was just a part of him.
He's a battler, he's a trier, and this trophy is from the under-12 players and committee of the Junior Football Club, and it goes to Jarrod George.
In May of this year, Jarrod George took his last mark on the football field.
Good boy. Good boy.
At 12 years of age, Jarrod had suffered a stroke.
It was just a shock to me, because I'd heard of kids having tumours, but as far as a stroke, that really happens in old people. It doesn't happen in young kids.
Jarrod was just 12 years old when his life changed. He was struck down by 2 strokes. But Jarrod is a philosopher, and today he's going to share his philosophy on life this afternoon. Welcome, Jarrod.
Hi everyone, thanks for turning up. Woo, that gets to me, even though it was 37 years ago. Wowzers. So my name's Jarrod, I'm 49 years old, I should say. Before I start my little talk, I've got a couple of notes. We've had like 4 rehearsals the last 2 months, and I've wrote notes, and I've got up to speak in front of the people and never read one note off the bit of paper. And they all say, that was great. Oh, well, shit, I didn't say the things I wanted to, but yeah. But anyway, we'll give it a crack. So my philosophy, as you see there, that all happened. But as I've turned into an adult, and obviously things have changed a bit, I've come up with a theory that when we're all born, we all have this inner energy and bright light that shares with every human being in the world, disabled or not disabled. Everyone's got that inner energy. It's like when a friend of yours, you give a friend of yours a phone call and they say, oh God, I was only thinking of you yesterday. That's not coincidence. And it's happened to everyone, is that right? Yep. That's not coincidence. That's the energy that each body pushes out, okay? So every single one of us are all born with that energy when we're young and created. So everyone in the world has that, disabled or not. So I just wanted to get that because it's something I'll say later on. Hopefully it blends into what I said if I stick to the script. So my story, I was born in Wagga. Parents were roughly in their early 30s. I had a difficult birth. Mum had the difficult birth and it was me that caused it. I was born, I had 2 massive black eyes where they had to try and use forceps and that to get me out during the pregnancy, the birth and all that sort of stuff. After a couple of months, obviously the swelling and everything went down and crossed me hard. I did win a baby show after even having them 2 things have changed now, I tell you. Yeah. So I had the baby show, and anyway, Mum got me, and Dad as well. They pushed me straight into sport from the age of 4 years old. Started playing footy. That was my number one. Cricket, running, athletics, everything like that. Started school. Went through school. They raised me really well-mannered, polite. I used to do a lot of charity work. I dropped the 80-year-old lady's letter home every afternoon after school, riding the push bike and things. And I just do that. So it brought me up to be a person that would care about other people and things like that. And that went through my whole life. So my parents done a real good job. So I got up to like year 5. at primary, and I started getting a few migraine headaches and things. And the doctors just put it down to, well, just growing pains, you know, things happen, bodies are changing, all that sort of stuff. And then I was captain of the footy team, cricket team, rugby team, represented the school in New South Wales in athletics, all of that sort of stuff, popular with the girls, yeah, you know, all of that. That was year 5, and then year 6, I was made vice captain of the school because I was well spoken and mannered and whatever, and still getting the migraine headaches. End of year 6, I made the New South Wales first junior representative side for AFL. We went to Canberra. There was 300 kids there from all over Australia, and they'd done a 3-2-1 vote in every game over the 4 days, and I think we played 3 games a day. And after all them votes had been counted up after the 4 days, I won the best and fairest, and 6 of them players that were in that whole group went on to play AFL. So that was pretty big in my life. So like I was on top of the world for a kid that was just sort of looking forward to high school the following year. I say I was intelligent, but I went into high school still at 11 years old. 1986, so started year 7, making new friends, joined all the sports teams, being a class clown, as you might be picking up. Yeah, that'd be pretty easy for him. And I still was starting to get these migraine headaches still and everything like that. So for the first 12 years of my life, I was a child with full ability. I could do anything, absolutely anything, full ability. Year 7, in April, when I did turn 12 years old, there was only another month left of that full ability. In May, wowzers, first week of May, I had a bad headache. It was half time of the footy. I was playing footy, and I went and told my mum that I had a headache, and she said, "Come on, you better come off." And I said, "I'm not going off, Mum. I'm playing footy. I just want you to know I've got a headache." So she said, "Righto, Jarrod, righto, you're stubborn, pig-headed, whatever." Well, I call it determined. I just kept playing out the game of footy. Everything was good that day. Went home, washed Mum's car and everything for her. And I said, "Mum, that headache's still there." And I started losing a bit of my sight. She said, "Well, just go and have a lie down, mate, because after you have an hour rest, usually the headache would go away." And it was in the afternoon, and it was unusual. I'd been asleep for like 4 hours or something. Mum thought, "There's something going on here." So she went and woke me up, and when I woke up, usually the headaches and everything were gone. This headache and the blindness was still there. So she rushed me round to the local doctors, rang him up in North Wagga there, and he said, "Yeah, bring him round, we'll have a look," and brought him round, and he said, "Oh, I think your son's got a tumour. We better get him up to the hospital." So they rushed me up to the Wagga base. At this stage, I had gone into a coma. So what I'm telling you now is just hearsay, what people have told me. So they get me up to Wagga base, and luckily enough, there was a doctor there from Sydney, a specialist, and he said, "This boy hasn't got a tumour, he's had a stroke." So they ordered the ambulance to fly me straight to Sydney. On the way to Sydney, I suffered another stroke, and they'd lost me. They rushed me straight into surgery, and they'd done the first surgery, and on the table there it was gone. They said, "We're sorry," told Mum and Dad, we advise you turn the life support machine off because it doesn't look like he's going to make it." And my mum said, "No way, just do what you've got to do to keep him alive." So because the brain had swollen so much, they had to remove a part of the brain, and that was the only thing they could do to stop the pressure in my head and stop me from actually dying. So they said the part of the brain we'll remove is the cerebellum. Now, if no one knows, the cerebellum controls all your bodily, your movements, your coordination, your balance, all your motor skills is your cerebellum. My mum said, "Well, just do it." And they said, "But be prepared, Mrs. George, your son will be a vegetable for the rest of his life, and you'll have to be paying thousands and thousands to keep him alive." And Mum said, "Just do it, keep him alive." So they did it, in that first 7 days I was at Prince of Wales Hospital, they'd done 6 operations on my brain to do what Mum said, keep me alive. And then I was just in a coma for 8 weeks, not moving, not talking, not doing nothing, machines just keeping me alive. And one day I moved a little finger, and Mum and that were sitting around me at the bed at the hospital, and they said, he's moved. And from that day on, like, I couldn't move, I couldn't walk, talk, do nothing, had to have everything done for me. But why I bring that up, I went from a kid of 12 years of absolute full ability to someone with a massive disability. And to go from that, like a teenager, you can imagine teenagers trying to deal with stuff that kids deal with, and here I was inside me trying to deal with stuff that was like, give up, man, give up, you know. A lot of people would be like that. But anyway, so I just continued with the physiotherapy for probably, I think it was around, it was only a week or two in Sydney, but then they flew me back to Wagga, and I was in hospital in Wagga for 7 or 8 months. So I'd done physio every single day. And I can remember when they first sat me up, and I couldn't even move my head and hardly open my eyes. So I didn't actually look at my body, but I knew I had a really good physique and muscles and that developing when I was 12. And I just thought, yep, I'm in hospital. This is what I'm thinking in my head. I couldn't talk, but I'm thinking in my head, well, listen, it's just like having a broken arm or a broken leg. It's going to heal and you're going to get better, Jarrod, and get back playing footy and do all this sorts of stuff. And after doing a little bit of physio on that, I said to my mum one day, Mum, or mumbled to her, Mum, can you get the mirror? I want to have a look at myself. And Mum said, no, because she knew what it'd do. And the minute I looked at myself in the mirror, and my arms were probably only that round, and my legs probably only a bit bigger, and I couldn't even lift my head up and open my eyes, and I was mortified, absolutely mortified, because the vision I had in my head of getting somewhere had suddenly hit a spot where, holy crap, man, you might get nowhere near that, nowhere near it. So I had to make a decision with myself then whether I push on and just see what happens. Never know what happens tomorrow. Wake up next day, never know what happens tomorrow. And so here's where I am today. But that's my story. So now getting to the thing with disability and ability, I'd never even looked at it at a different light until I had a disability. So from school then, I went from early days being the first picked in every sporting team, every running race, to now, when you're standing with a bunch of kids and they're all getting picked in a team and you're the last one standing there. And I still had like walking problem, balance problem. I've still had that all my life. Like, I really struggle to stand on one foot now. I'd fall out. Well, I could show you, but you'd probably all go, whoa, to catch me. The coordinate, I've got these that's another thing, my glasses. I didn't get them till I was 20. And I've just thought, I haven't read nothing of that. So with my right hand, I can go, like, point my finger out like that, right side, and my right leg's like pretty good, you know, I can kick out like that, lose it. But my left, I've really got to concentrate, or I'll poke my eye out, you know, like that. And my leg, well, I can't stand, well, I can, but, you know. So they're the difficulties I go against. So I'm full up with disability now, and I've had to face it for 37 years. But in society, that's the thing that's really getting to me. Like, even it was only a couple of weeks ago, I walked into I don't drink, I don't do drugs, anything like that, no criminal record. I walked into the Union Club to pick up some friends of mine that were on the grog, and as I walked in there, and one of the security guards came up to me, he said, come on, mate, you've had enough. Tried to get me out. And I said, I beg your pardon. And it really hurt. And like, I've dealt with this like for 37 years, like I just said. And even now, as you can see, and I still get emotional about it because it's just not right. Society needs to really get their bearings out. They should put themselves and look through another person's eyes and see what they're seeing in the world. And people with disabilities, we all carry stress, we all carry anxiety. Most importantly, and it's hard for people to believe, we carry guilt that we need a helping hand in life. And other people have to sacrifice their own life to help us. I mean, I've felt that guilt for 37 years. And I look back now and I think, well, there was 2 years of my mum and dad's life when I had them strokes. They would have had to take off work and go to hospital every single day and go and look after me. And that guilt happens with every one of these people that have got a disability that have spoken today have got to deal with, because they've got to throw their help. They need support. So I just wish society would change. So now, 3 bloody days I've wrote this and what a waste of time. Holy crap. Was there anything else there that I should have told you? And I'm really sorry, Tim, that's running this. I know it only went 6 minutes, but you know what I'm like. So I've had to do physio and everything every day of my life. But I enjoy going to the gym because it helps me get rid of a lot of frustration. And plus it stops me thinking about what I'm missing out on in life. But this paragraph I just wrote that I think it sounds very important what I've wrote. With organisations such as Timber, this is our Brave Australia, hopefully society will someday fully understand that there will always be people in our society that are living with a disability, and at times these people may need assistance, patience and support, but most importantly, acceptance and understanding from those around us, because after all, we all process that glowing ball of energy that we all had from day one. Thank you.